Bud Grant's inspiration to become an athlete came from his father, who was an athlete himself and one that he looked up to growing up.
Well, I was an oldest son, and my dad was an athlete in his own right at that time. He played for the Duluth Eskimos, which was a semi-pro team that Ole Hogsrud owned at one time from Duluth. And the only problem is they played all away games. My dad had a job, so he couldn't travel with the game. He practiced with them and played one game, I think, in Duluth, and then the rest of the time they played as a traveling team.
And as Bud turns 90 years old, you can't help but wonder, in a different era, as a Pro Bowl football player, a Hall of Fame coach, he would have made some significant money, but he's not complaining.
You know, eras are different. I mean, the situations are different. You can't, say, well, if I'd have born 40 years earlier or later or something, it'd been better. But no, in those days, I mean, I could afford to making $7,000, $8,000 a year. I could afford to get married. I could afford to have a car. I could afford to start a family, all on that money. Plus what I made in baseball in the summer of town ball, which was pretty lucrative.
See, he doesn't look back with regret because he's so thankful to have lived life at all.
The storm breaks in full final fury on the German Rhine.
He was a product of an era that was intent on winning World War II, and he enlisted in the Navy out of high school.
My main focus was not where I was going to go to school, it was what branch of the service I was going to go in. Well, I chose the Navy for I don't know what reason, except I think it was because I could go right away. Now, when I left high school in May, in a week I was at Great Lakes.
The Great Lakes base was the perfect training ground for an athlete. He went there fully anticipating to go to war.
I've been preparing to go to war for 4 years in high school, or 3 years, whatever it was. And that's all we thought about was the war. We didn't think about where we were going to go to school. That wasn't the main purpose. So anyway, I ended up at Great Lakes, which was a blessing, because then I got to play football and basketball down there, and then I got got my training as a driving a landing craft. So ended up in Treasure Island out in San Francisco Bay, and we're going to go to Japan. So they land all these landing crafts on these ships, and we learned how to drive it. Now we're going to go to Japan. They dropped the bomb, the war's over.
He was never part of the anticipated invasion, but he did earn a battle star. That came with a domestic dispute. He was stationed in San Francisco, and the Alcatraz prison had an issue.
They had a prison break at Alcatraz. Now Alcatraz is right in the bay of San Francisco.
Just across the...
Yeah, and they had a prison break. So how are they going to put this down? Well, we got a bunch of Marines here in Treasure Island. We'll take them out there in our landing craft. So we took Marines out to the landing craft, and the prisoners who got loose had 2 guns, and they killed some people, and it was a big thing at that time. But anyway, I got a battle star on my American Theater ribbon.
What he learned about the era he lived through is what defined him for life. One friend a year older did go to battle and never came back.
But so he wrote me a couple letters. I wrote him a couple letters. He said he got through boot camp, and now they're going to go. They drew their equipment. He said they must be going somewhere warm because he doesn't have any heavy gear. They're all, but they were going. They were all excited. So he wrote me a letter, and I didn't hear from him for a while. And then I heard that we had they had the invasion of Tarawa. He got killed.
Oh my God.
Killed on the first wave on the beach in Tarawa. He was killed. 19 years old.
Another pal, nicknamed Rabbit, never got off his last submarine mission.
The last ship we lost during the war was the Bullhead.
No.
So Rabbit is still in the Pacific Ocean on the bottom. They never found the submarine. He's still there, 19 years old. A good friend, lost him. And
you have never let the World War II people out of your heart and mind, have you?
No, I remember him. I remember going, I roomed with Chuck Bednarik, who played with the Eagles. He was a waist gunner on a B-17, a Flying Fortress, 4-engine bomber. flew 25 missions over Germany. And if you fly 25, then you get off. You don't, you served your time, and only about 25% of the people ever reached that goal, because we were losing 30, 40, 50 planes at every raid we made of 4-engine bombers. There were 10 people in every one of those bombers. I used to drive to work with him, and he'd say, yeah, he said, he was anxious to get over there and do it, he said, but the first mission I couldn't wait for, he said, and from that point on I was scared shitless, he said.
So Bud's number one lesson in life over the 9 decades? Remember who paved the way. Not in sports terms, but the heroes that allowed us to live.
You should never call a sports or an entertainment person a hero. They're stars. There's a difference between stars and heroes. Stars fade in the morning. Heroes never fade away. Heroes are there forever. And stars, movie stars, baseball stars, football stars, they come and go. Heroes never leave. We've had heroes forever. That's why you and I are here, because of our heroes.
Because of them.
Because of our heroes. That's why we're here. Never forget heroes.